We're at day 9. We're going to talk about keep mind going. Success with AI is a process. Success with almost anything is a process of persistence. My core expertise is in innovation and creativity, and one thing I know extraordinarily well is great ideas don't usually land in one shot. Too often we give up, excited by the first results. In social science, this is what Herbert Simon calls satisficing. A definition of creativity I love comes from Jeremy Lee's book, Idea Flow, from a 7-year-old child. He said, creativity is doing more than the first thing you thought of. Success is doing more than the first thing that you thought of. You have to keep on asking questions like, what did I miss? How can I see things different? And my favorite, how could I do exactly the opposite? We talked about that in the reframing class. These 3 questions and many more will get you past the first thing that you thought of. Now, I invested 4 years of my life writing a book called Cycles. It was fact-based and co-written with 22 experts. It was exactly the book I wanted in the courses I was teaching my students. The core message is people think innovation is all about luck and eureka moments. The reality is occasionally it is, but 95% of the time it is hard work that looks a lot like luck. The reality is it ain't what you don't know that gets you in trouble. It's what you know that just ain't so. In all the courses up until now, we've looked at some key myths. What we're going to do in this course is we're going to look at 3 key myths that will stop you from keeping on going like you should. The first and the biggest myth about creativity is the eureka in his bathtub. It's a blind belief in the overnight success. What we see is the thing on the left here. We see in innovation and we see it successful. What we miss is the whole process of innovation and problem solving that came before. When you miss that, you don't realize how much work there is to generate an idea. Now, I'm not a big fan of Steve Jobs, but I do like the way he says things sometimes. What follows is a 1.5-minute video about how success is a process. If you don't like Steve Jobs, you can scroll forward. I think it's worth listening to.
One of the things that really hurt Apple was after I left, John Sculley got a very serious disease. And that disease, I've seen other people get it too. It's the disease of thinking that a really great idea is 90% of the work. And that if you just tell all these other people, here's this great idea, then of course they can go off and make it happen. And the problem with that is that there's just a tremendous amount of craftsmanship in between a great idea and a great product. And as you evolve that great idea, it changes and grows. It never comes out like it starts because you learn a lot more as you get into the subtleties of it. And you also find there's tremendous trade-offs that you have to make. I mean, there are just certain things you can't make electrons do. There are certain things you can't make plastic do or glass do. And as you get into, or factories do, or robots do. And as you get into all these things, designing a product is keeping 5,000 things in your brain, these concepts, and fitting them all together in kind of continuing to push to fit them together in new and different ways to get what you want. And every day you discover something new that is a new problem or a new opportunity to fit these things together a little differently. And it's that process that...
Welcome back. Myth number 2 is about recipes for success. We want to believe in magic recipes and magic prompts. Why else would you keep all those prompts that are shown up in LinkedIn over time? The reality is the magic prompts are not going to help you. There are not simple recipes for success. If you want to cook well, you have to know how to cook. If you want to use AI well, you have to know how to use AI. Then you can move forward in a smart way when you're missing ingredients and things don't work. The third myth is about creativity is not about systems. Here I have an example looking at a lump of clay developed over time into a diamond. It's the same thing with your ideas. Things start out with something rough and ugly. You have a cycle where you learn and act again. You have your first prototypes. It's still a bit ugly. You have a cycle, learn and act again. V2 is less ugly. A cycle and a cycle and a cycle. Maybe around version 10, you have something beautiful. Things grow, things get better, one cycle at a time. Now, how this looks in practice is companies follow 3 different paths. The most common path I see in large organizations is bad cycles, where bureaucracy, lack of alignment, politics put people in bad cycles, and they take reasonably good ideas and make them into failures. There's another group, which is the guys that take an idea and they don't change over time. Sometimes they'll get lucky and win. The last group is the group that go on through learning cycles and they build smart winners. Winners can make good or even mediocre ideas great over time. Now, the way that I teach this in my book and in my classes about the ABCs of innovation, each letter stands for something important. If you miss one, things fall apart. Alignment is about getting clear on your objectives. Here in this course, we talked about context. We talked about true north. We talked about ways that you pull things together. Building ideas, it's about going one step further. It's pushing AI past the first ideas, checking ideas. It's validating, keeping your brain on, thinking as you go along. And systems is about creating systems for improvement. Without alignment, there's chaos and wasted energy. Without building ideas, you have weak ideas and small improvements. Without checking them, you're going to waste money on bad ideas. And without systems, you'll never get any place far. There's 3 facts that I'd like to share with you. First, creativity and better results take time. Great ideas come after the obvious ones. For all of you who've run a brainstorm, you might be interested in the following statistic. A 1-day brainstorming produces 20% of the big ideas of a 2-day brainstorming. Typically, 80% of the big ideas come on day 2 after the obvious ideas have been exhausted. Second, creativity might be a bit overrated. TRIZ has shown that 97% of ideas are simply recombinations of existing ideas. This means AI can work hard for you if you keep on pushing. It's hard to beat AI on a recombination of ideas. And lastly, the just do it Nike version is seldom going to work. Do it, think, and do it again. Will. I recently put together a new book called The Generative Organization. It's about bringing AI and generative AI into organizations to help companies keep going faster, better, and easier. There's lots of tools shared, but the most important thing is about smart AI, AI with discipline. It's about clear objectives. Smart AI starts with well-defined goals and constraints, helping focus your team and your AI on the direction you need to move. It's about structured methodologies. Rather than random requests, use systematic approaches, often breaking down complex tasks into manageable components. That's what we did in terms of idea generation and in reframing. The human collaboration is about working together and bringing your expertise to the table and making sure that AI is not leading the process blindly, but you're working in it together. To help you do this effectively, we put together the Sparks methodology. These are habits that will keep you working smart and sort of trick you into doing the things that you need to do. What you need to remember is ideas get better over time. Innovation isn't a sprint of brilliant insights. It's a marathon of thoughtful, purposeful strides. Now, if you want to learn more, I could suggest reading my full book, but I'm going to give you less. There's first an article here on self-refine, iterative refinement with self-feedback. Second, there's 2 chapters in my books on persistence, and there's a notebook 11 with a lot of information about why you want to keep on going and why that's the key to success. I'd like to sell you the advanced course. It's about building a process to keep going, why you might want to do it. It's going to show you how to use AI to understand and create repeatable processes. Hint, with AI, it's never been easier than it is today. Today's work is a recapitulative work. I would like you to reflect. What is smart AI? Take a few minutes to write down your thoughts. Step number 2 is redo your assessment. Have you started using AI differently? Your assessment will tell you. Step 3 is compare your results versus your previous results. Reflect, are you making progress? If you want, you can use the prompt here on the next page. Just do a screenshot of this, put this into your AI. It'll compare the results of 1 and 2. That's it. Thank you very much.